1300 hours, Pakistan Standard Time. Assalamu alaikum. This is Radio Pakistan, the news read by Ali Ahmed. First, the headlines. A meeting of Federal Cabinet is in progress in Islamabad with the Prime Minister in the chair discussing overall political and economic situation of the country. A three-member bench of Supreme Court has directed to remove encroachments from the lands of temples and gurdwaras in the country. Kashmiris on both sides of the line of control and the world over are observing the right to self-determination day today. Pakistan has strongly condemned the latest extrajudicial killings by Indian occupation forces of 3 Kashmiri youth in Srinagar on 29th December last year. And now the news in detail. A meeting of the Federal Cabinet is in progress in Islamabad with the Prime Minister Imran Khan in the chair. It is discussing overall political and economic situation of the country. The meeting will also dilate upon the steps taken to tackle the second wave of COVID-19. 59 more people died of coronavirus in the country during the last 24 hours. According to the latest statistics, 1,947 people tested COVID positive after 35,073 tests carried out over the last 24 hours. A three-member bench of the Supreme Court, headed by Chief Justice of Pakistan, Gulzar Ahmad, has directed to remove encroachments from the lands of temples and gurdwaras. The Apex Court gave their directions whilst hearing a suo motu case regarding the recent attack on a Hindu temple in Karak. The bench also sought details from the evacuee trust about temples across the country. The Inspector General Khyber Pakhtunkhwa Police informed the court that 109 people have been arrested in connection with the Karak temple attack. He said action has also been taken against the police officials. Kashmiris on both sides of the line of control and the world over observing the right to self-determination day today, with a renewed pledge to continue their liberation struggle till it reaches its ultimate goal. It was on 5th of January in 1949 when the United Nations Security Council passed a resolution supporting the Kashmiris' right to decide their future by themselves through United Nations-sponsored plebiscite. The day is being marked by various activities including rallies, seminars and conferences across the world to remind the United Nations that it must implement its relevant resolutions to settle the Kashmir dispute and save Kashmiris from the Indian brutalities. While Hurriyat leaders and organizations have called upon the United Nations and international community to fulfill their pledge by granting the Kashmiris their basic right of self-determination. Pakistan has strongly condemned the latest extrajudicial killings by the Indian occupation forces of 3 Kashmiri youth in Srinagar on 29th of December last year. In a statement, Foreign Office spokesperson Zahid Hafiz Chaudhry said the families and neighbors of the martyred Kashmiris have affirmed that their young boys were innocent who visited Srinagar on the fateful day and became the victims of Indian state terrorism. He said it is doubly inhuman that the bodies of 3 martyrs are not handed over to their families for a proper burial. Despite repeated appeals by the families, the spokesperson said this is a new form of oppression that the Indian occupation forces are now resorting to in order to break the will of the Kashmiri people, but they will never succeed in this attempt. He said Pakistan reiterates its call for an independent inquiry under international scrutiny to investigate the extrajudicial killings of Kashmiris by the Indian occupation forces in Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir and to bring the perpetrators of these heinous crimes to justice. Jammu and Kashmir Committee Shahryar Afridi has reaffirmed that the entire Pakistani nation stands by their Kashmiri brethren until they achieve their right to self-determination. Addressing a seminar in connection with the Kashmiris' right to self-determination day in Islamabad today, he said, "We all will stay united for the Kashmir cause. Shahryar Afridi said Pakistan will continue its moral, diplomatic and political support to the Kashmir cause. The chairman Kashmir Committee said the promise made to the Kashmiris for right to self-determination must be fulfilled. He said India's ugly face, its false propaganda and its nefarious designs against Pakistan have been exposed by the European Union Disinfo Lab. The United Kingdom has announced countrywide lockdown from tomorrow till mid of next month to control the rising number of coronavirus infections due to the new, more infectious variant of the virus. Announcing the decision in a televised address, Prime Minister Boris Johnson said the new lockdown includes the closure of schools, work from home, limits on leaving home, and no household mixing. On the third day of second and final cricket test match at Christchurch against New Zealand, Pakistan in their second innings were 8 for a loss of 1 wicket at stumps today. Earlier, New Zealand declared their first innings at 659 for a loss of 6 wickets. And that is the end of the news. For more news and analysis, log on to our website radio.gv.pk. And also watch live video streaming of our bulletins on the link facebook.com/Radio Pakistan News Official.